Hey guys, it's John McNamara, host, Ron in Vegas. We're talking local sports, business, real estate. If you guys like what you see today, like, subscribe, follow us on Ron in Vegas podcast. Today, we got a special co-host, Mr. George Hernandez in the house.
Here I am.
All right. So we're excited today. We recently went to a real estate seminar
Conference
called Spring Break and Break. Let's see if I can speak today on the podcast. We went to Spring Break and we're going to talk about, give you guys a little bit of recap. So if you're an agent out there, got some really good information. Even if you're not in real estate, I feel like these are just a lot of really good life lessons to apply to your life. So we're super excited to share.
Yeah.
Let's lead it off.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good start. I think we should start from like the beginning. It was amazing. So this place, for you guys that don't know and are watching, Spring Benson runs this. It's obviously, her name is Spring and then starts with a B, so they decided to call it Spring Break. And it takes place in Salt Lake City. And I'm just proud of these kids. I want to start the podcast with gratitude. So I want to thank you for making me a part of this coaching, for the trajectory we're on with this group of people, with this tribe, because I feel like it's what's propelled our business forward and made us think bigger. And we're at where we're at because of our hard work, but also because like she says, there's power in proximity. So I want to start with gratitude.
Thank you.
And then my ADD kicked in there for a minute. However, I do want to set the scene. We went last year and it was maybe 40, 50 people, you would say, at this event. This year it was at the Rose Wagner Theater in Salt Lake City. Amazing venue. And it's held like, what, 500 people?
500, packed.
So you guys, from last year that we went 40, 50 people, and I might be a little off on the capacity for last year, but this year it was 500 agents there. And like you said, they call it a real estate convention. However, it is way more than that. There is breathwork that's going on. There is sound bath that is going on. It's just truly amazing. It's all mindset. And the belief is that if we train our minds and our health, that everything else will follow. Money, real estate business, all of it. So it was really neat. So just to give you guys some context, that's kind of how we started that.
Yeah, my gratitude is towards you because you're my best seminar friend. So I really appreciate you going to all these seminars with me. And it's fun because it's one thing to do it on your own, but when you have somebody who's growth minded and you and I, get ahas together, it makes it fun. So I'm excited to share today.
Thank you for that. Yeah, for sure. Yes, and I think it's, also the second part of that, and I could speak for us because we've talked about this in private, is sometimes you just leave these seminars and you're not motivated, or you're just, it's cool what they're saying, but they don't show you how to do it. Or there are many, many times I've attended these and they're a lot of fun. You're just ready to go to happy hour with the agents that are there. This one's very intentional, and that's what makes it different. So it's just, it's 3 days and it was awesome speakers, probably some of the best speakers in the country.
Yeah. It's an intense seminar because they really put you on the spot. You can't really sit in the back and not interact where a lot of us in real estate do. I have been guilty of this. We've all been guilty of it. But yeah, they really push you to participate, join these classes. So you get so much out of it. And the same with you. It's like after I left, I'm like, man, I missed the tribe that we just left, because it's hard to find other growth-minded people. So, and Justin just scares the heck out of me as well. So it gets you out of your comfort zone, right?
And how lucky are we that they are our coaches and we get to see them every week, right? It's just on a whole different level. So, just like they're proud of us, we're proud of them too for what they're doing. And it keeps on growing every day. Or every year.
So let's go through takeaways here. So I had like my top three, but maybe let's kind of do a little back and forth. What was, one of your top, because there's so many. I doubt there's like a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But maybe just start off like, what was your one of your takeaways?
One of my little ahas. That's a great question. So you know what? It's say yes to more and figure it out later. and I need to learn this lesson because I am an overthinker, so I want everything to be perfect before I actually do it. Even be like today, being here on camera is not, for those of you guys that follow me on Instagram, it is not something that comes naturally to me. I do get a little anxiety and in my head, but say more to yes and then fill it out. Spring gave a very good example how she booked the Rose Wagner, and you guys, these venues are so expensive.
Yeah.
They are ridiculous. So like for an hotel, they have to guarantee last year, they have to guarantee the rooms are gonna sell out, and there's like a $50,000 or $40,000 food and beverage that they must meet and pay.
Yeah.
So it is just craziness to me. So how that applies to me is stop overthinking. Just do it and figure it out as you go. Everything is a learning lesson. That's probably the biggest one that applies to me. There's other ones for different reasons, but what was yours?
Well, good job, because you're applying it. I've noticed like a big shift for you this year is saying like this podcast, like last year where it's like, I'm not doing the podcast. And now you're going to...
It took me a year.
Give you guys a heads up. I'm not hosting next week. This man is.
Yeah.
So 3 podcasts in a couple months. So proud of you.
Yeah,
Great job.
thank you.
So mine was, one of my big takeaways was being authentic. I feel like that was one thing that just continued to come up for me. And one thing I didn't realize, it gets a little woo-woo, guys, so just giving you a heads up. Like, I believe in all this, but they go into actually like frequencies and vibrational frequencies, and being authentic is actually on a higher level than love. So that is one thing that...
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah. I have the best ones. It's not a competition.
Yeah, no.
But it's 1-0.
Yeah, okay.
So that is one thing I want to practice, because I'm naturally just a people pleaser the way I grew up. You and I have these private conversations all the time, and they talk a lot about generational trauma, childhood trauma, and continue to work on things. And I am a natural people pleaser. So that is one thing, is I am not always authentic.
Yeah.
And that is something that just continued to come up for me, is really with my voice, with everybody that I care about in my life, my team, my family, my friend, whatever it is really be authentic to everyone. And that is something I'm going to be very conscious of, because a lot of times what goes through my head is like, I'll talk about this later, where I'm having a good day, whatever. I don't want to shake the boat, right? First is really being conscious of that, and just be like, hey, I'm going to have this conversation, whatever the heck it is, and be fierce in that moment. So that is the one big thing that came out for me for the seminar.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, because I think I actually did not have that one in my notes, and it is very true. They say how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I think it definitely applies to all of it: professional, business, spiritual, right? Mindset. So, yeah, good.
Number next.
Okay. What else I got out of it? Let me talk about my favorite 2 things that we did.
Okay.
So there's this girl, her name is Sam, and she did the sound bath, and I've been wanting to do that forever now.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes I hear that Fremont, what's that little place called where we go to Mothership Coffee, that little area?
Oh, yeah.
Ferguson's.
Ferguson's
Will have sound baths on certain days where there's like a full moon, and they'll have sound baths. So we experienced that for 30 minutes, and we did not 1 but 2 breathwork sessions.
Yeah.
One was an hour long, one was 30 minutes long, and that was probably my favorite, just because every day it's a little different. The first time I did it, I was getting a little emotional in my head, just thinking about who do I want to be. They had just talked about that everything in life is a mirror of who we are, and just upgrading our identity. And then the second day, we did it at 7 a.m. There was a snowstorm. It was the funniest thing ever.
Everybody was late.
Yeah, everybody was a little late. And that day I just felt at peace. So that probably was my favorite part of the entire thing. But there were so many other speakers that kind of resonated as well.
I love that you brought it up, because I've been going to real estate summer for 20 years, and I don't ever remember doing like a meditation session in any of these events.
It's like life-changing.
Yeah, and we were doing 2 of these a day. Like, I'm like, are we at a yogi retreat or are we at a real estate seminar?
Right, it gets a little confusing at times. You're like, what are we doing here?
And I love it, because when I first got into real estate, I got really big into actually spirituality.
Yeah.
Reading my Wayne Dyer, and I've talked about this in the past. And before, it was kind of like, I got a lot of pushback from the real estate community with it. Like, spirituality has nothing to do with real estate, which I always felt like it did have a part of it with your, being abundant and attracting things naturally. And I really just didn't understand how to apply it. And they really talked a lot about that. And even the meditation, I'm getting like the allergies every time. I don't feel good or bad, but I'm like sitting here crying for no reason.
Yeah.
But that was super powerful to me because it sends you out.
Yeah, it sure does. And there are times when it feels a little bit like a cult, so that's why I'm laughing or smiling, not it's so much your response. However, I am a firm believer in that, and I know in my personal life, I believe in Ernest Holmes. I'm not a very religious person, but I am spiritual, and I believe in the science of the mind. I guess if I am applying one philosophy, it would be that. And it doesn't matter what you believe in, that is kind of what they're saying. Hey, think of it, visualize it, that it's already yours. I forget, William, what's his name? Liam, yeah.
Liam.
Awesome person. He said something, and I'm probably going to butcher it. He's like, your past and your future is now.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because we have our old life and our old tendencies and old habits that we have, and then who we want to become. And this present moment is the only time we have, right? So I believe in all that, in manifestation, and I think that's why I'm more attracted to it. But there is not one single person that I spoke to at that seminar where they didn't feel rejuvenated, or like there was people that were vulnerable enough to talk about addiction, and they're getting advice from these coaches that coach celebrities at times, right? And they're like, hey, you have to replace that old habit with a new one and a healthier one. And I think that's all of us as humans, that's the trajectory we're on.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was beautiful.
It was powerful. There was a lot of love there. We're getting a lot of hugs and just the community there. So and just to dive more into Liam, he was super powerful. The things I got out of his session. So just kind of give you guys a breakdown. It's pretty cool. Because one thing I like about spring break, it is like literally 8:30 to like 5 straight. Like you get one lunch, there's no breaks, and they just speaker, and they get about 30, 40 minutes depending on the speaker. But William Lamb was really...
I'm sorry.
Super powerful. I know you're ADHD. Keep it in there.
Okay.
Write it down.
Hopefully I don't forget.
Right, I'll forget if you go. So Liam was really super powerful, and he talks about designing your life. And then he basically had a survey, like, how many of you guys have the next 10 years planned? And I think there was a handful of us that actually rose our hand. And then past that, nobody had it past, I think, 10 years. There might have been a couple, right? Like Spring and Justin, right? And he talks about designing your life 100 years out and then 1,000 years out. And the reason why you do this is it makes your mind think differently. And it's so simple, but it makes a lot of sense. Because if you're not thinking about the future and designing your life, our brains are very powerful. We're very intelligent, but we're not asking ourselves the right questions of how do we get there in 10 years or 100 years or 1,000 years, whatever we're trying to accomplish. So that was a super powerful session for me, and being intentional of who you are designing into your life. Who are your team members? Who are your clients? What is your business what is your wealth gonna look like? How much money you're gonna attract, and being incredibly intentional. And that was just super powerful for me. He was probably top 5 of that event for me. So do you remember what you got?
No, I don't. But in addition to what you're saying, it's like be very intentional there. Back to there's power in proximity, and we can relate this, you guys. It doesn't just have to be real estate. It could be our friends. It could be our family we're surrounded by. It could be our environment. Just changing that up. Changing your environment is important. And then everybody needs to upgrade. If it's stagnant, it's okay. That's the journey they're on. There's no judgment. However, where we are heading in life and business with our friends, with our family, we want to elevate everybody else to go on that journey with us. And there's people that it's like, hey, this is enough and this is all I want to do, and that's perfectly fine. But to your point, it is a life. It is friends by design. It is family by design. It is a lifestyle choices by design. It is habits by design. It's not just things happen by default, or this is just what life is, and victim mentality. So I agree. If the other one comes up, I'll interrupt again.
Okay, good. Not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
So start talking again and I'll remember.
yeah, that's usually how it works with our relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. To add on to that, gosh, now I'm losing it.
It's okay. You know what I like? Something our coach says, Justin Nelson's his name. If you guys don't know who he is, follow him. He says, have a commitment to have a life you are proud of.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. It is so powerful because you change the whole trajectory of how you behave on a day-to-day basis, how we speak to ourselves, affirmations. I am healthy. I am successful. I am, rich. I am a good friend. I am whatever it is. And just on a day-to-day basis and just almost brainwashing yourself to believe in these things until they become true. And then you live this life of authenticity, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
I love how Spring brought that up. I'm really glad you brought that up because she was talking about that. Is she actually journaled what was going in her mindset? And this is a very high-level woman, very successful, right? Yeah. She's doing 120, 200 deals a year back in the day. Now she's doing like 700 with her team. And she was talking about that. She was like, I started journaling what I was saying to myself and the stories. And then I love what you just said here. She started using I am and start replacing it with positive affirmations.
Right.
So be very conscious. I've done this in the past myself. That's really helped me. And it's something I need to be consistent with. Mm-hmm. That was another big aha for me is even today I went on my usual walk and I started going, I am confident. I am strong. I am abundant. I am prosperous. So start getting into that mode. And it's obviously, I mean, this woman has gone into like a whole nother world.
Right.
And she's done a lot of other things. But it seemed like that was kind of like the seed that kind of helped her take off though.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point.
Yeah, for sure. It's all of it, right? I think I already said to replace your bad habits with something better, but yeah, the affirmations are huge just to manifest, just kind of like we do I don't know how many of you guys do at the end of the year we did it for the first time with our team and invited friends and family and whoever wanted to show up, the vision board. But do an affirmation board as well and have it in wherever you're going to see it every day.
Yeah.
And it's just, it does. I believe in all that stuff. I'm like, whatever. It was funny just because you guys can't see her. She's behind the screen right now. Jordan, we had a little lunch before we came here and then we're going to go to lunch after this. But we were talking about just little implementations of how to lead a healthy life. It's the microplastics. She was telling me about like coconut oil drying or whatever. I'm butchering it. Oil pooling, and all these little things. And we attract that. There is a reason we're having these conversations, and it's so important. Yeah. And long story short, or short story long, because I'm long-winded, it is everything in life is, Spring was saying that is a mirror of ourselves. Take full accountability. It is a mirror of ourselves. It's like if something's going wrong, it's because something we haven't changed, we haven't healed. If something's going great and there's abundance coming in, it's because we've surrounded ourselves by that. And it's about us just recognizing that energy and our environment and those people, right? There's people that aren't meant to be in our lives forever, and that's okay. And then we just elevate from that, and it's like, it's fine, no judgment on your journey. That's where you are, and this is where I'm at. Yeah. But continuously, how did she put it? Upgrade your identity.
Yeah. And one thing I really like about these events with Spring and Justin, because they're kind of like the main people up there. There's a lot of Mike Shum, and there's a bunch of other people. They are incredibly vulnerable with us when they're out there.
There's power and vulnerability.
There's so much power.
I could practice on that. But,
because both of us, all of us, right? But if you go to some of these other real estate seminars, it's more about like how smart I look in front of everybody else, right? There's a facade to it, right? A little bit.
Yes, it's all ego.
All ego.
I have to interrupt. I feel like I have to say what I need to say. If not, I'm going to forget again.
Okay, you go.
I think this is one of the things I appreciate. Literally, this is one of the things I appreciate from this.
It is,
we've been there in, yes, it's like identify what the important idea is, and then just let the other person have it. But no, what I was going to say is we've been to so many seminars where it's all ego.
Yeah.
I closed this many deals. I'm going to do this much. And that's not the full story, guys. If we relate it, or for those of you that are agents and are watching, is what stories are you telling yourself? And what's more important is how can I hold myself more accountable?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, so back to your I don't know if that helped your argument or didn't help your argument, but yeah, I go back to what you were saying because now.
That was good. It was good. It's right on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and it did help. Thank you. I'm getting you going. And one thing I really like about them, because they are just on such a high level, and these folks are literally on stage taking about responsibility, how they're not showing up at their highest level. Mm-hmm. Justin is one of the best speakers I've ever seen. And this man is on stage really talking about...
So to give you guys context and interrupt you again.
No, this is good, because you do better at this than I do.
Yeah, so to give you guys context, check him out. It's Justin Nelson Meta, I think, his Instagram. But he is the #1 speaker in the country and for Tony Robbins. He worked with Tony Robbins.
He used to work for Tony Robbins.
Forever. Yeah, not anymore now.
Yeah.
They work along with Spring, but that's the caliber of person that's on stage talking about all this.
Yeah.
So just, I want to give you guys context because not everybody knows or is in real estate and they don't know. And then they're like, well, yeah, I hear... I'm going to throw a little shade. It's because we see so many things now on social media, and you guys, influencers are not philosophers. So let me just say that. So that's why we have to name drop a little.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
The other thing, and in Spring too. Spring was the last speaker, so she was challenging herself too, which I really liked because she doesn't speak a lot. She's kind of like the host of the event, which she does a really good job, and she kind of...
Which she got a little backlash for.
She got a little backlash because...
Last year.
She's an incredible person. We all want to hear from her.
Yeah.
And this woman, she had a whole speech ready to go. She's the last person on, and she goes, and she practiced. She's paid a coach a lot of money to work on this, work on her, because she's doing a lot of speaking events now. And she decided...
A lot of money, it's like, it's a car.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's that much for a day of public speaking.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's an insane amount of money for us.
Yeah.
So, or a lot of people, I should say.
Yeah.
And so she literally, at like midnight, tore up her speech and worked on it for two hours, did a whole new speech because she didn't think it was good enough for the crowd, and she wanted to be as authentic as possible. And you could tell. Like, Spring is always good energy, but you could tell she was running on 3-4 hours of sleep a little.
Yeah.
And you crushed it, Spring. But I really appreciate...
She was vulnerable enough to say that.
But who says that,
yeah,
right?
She's like,
go out there like,
I woke up a little late for hair and makeup, but at midnight, I'm like, she changed her own slides and was like, hey, this is not in alignment.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, I just really appreciate about that, her. Because here's the reality is, it's very rare we're going to be at our best at all times. Mm-hmm. And you either need to show up or show up, and that they are just great examples of that. So I really appreciate their pushing them, because I thought like Justin, like first 2 days killed it, and he was sitting there like, guys, this day I'm going to show up on an entirely other level, and he did. It was just insane to me. Like, so.
Yeah, so how do you feel, let me ask you this, since we don't have a lot of time. I feel like that gives me more anxiety, the countdown, but so how do you feel it applies to you now, or what is the aha, or what are you implementing? What resonated with you the most now that after that, hearing this?
So 3 things.
What are you applying? Okay.
Yeah, so there's really 3 things for me, and we are talking about authenticity, so I'm going to be applying that. And for me, it's really getting physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually healthy. And just being the best version of myself, because the biggest thing I got out of this is how we show up for ourselves and internally. That's going to help attract what we want. So much in this business, we're about numbers, and the business is outside of us. Mm-hmm. And the reality is, the big thing I got is it's inside us. Mm-hmm. So what am I doing every single day on those levels and keeping myself accountable? And you'll be a part of that accountability, of course. So that was one of the big takeaways. The other thing was committing to a long-term wealth plan, which I want to dive into.
Oh, yeah.
I want to dive in this a little bit, because anybody can apply this to life. It's really simple. I love it, because I think with investing, everybody gets a little anxiety about it.
Yeah,
what do we do? And what do most of us do? Nothing.
Yeah.
Hopefully I make more money one day.
Yeah.
So we had a gal, Myra
Oliver.
Yes.
Followed her, text her. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah,
guys.
I become everybody's friends at these seminars. It's just so much wealth.
And I'm George's friend. So that's how that's how I show up.
I do talk a lot, and I do. It's weird that this is not my scene, and by this I mean the podcast.
Yeah.
However, in person, I do have a million questions I want to ask everyone, and this and that, and let's be friends, and how do we stay in touch?
Yeah.
So,
and I'm the introvert.
Yeah, and you benefit from that though, so it's a good balance.
It is a good balance. Yeah, we're a good combo at the seminars for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, Myra. So it's a really simple plan, and what you do, depending on if you guys want more information, DM us, either us, call or text us on it.
And just a disclaimer, just because I have a lot of friends that are attorneys, we are not financial advisors. Nope. We are none of that. So we're not CPAs. So take this with a grain of salt. I'll hold you guys accountable to that part.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So she basically broke down a chart of just a monthly savings, and it's like if you're 20 years old, you're going to invest in the S&P 500. Mm-hmm. Over the last 30 years or 50 years, whatever it is, the S&P has done about 10% interest. Yeah. Overall.
Compounding it.
Compounding it. Thank you. So if you're 20 years old, you're investing monthly $100.
Yeah.
If you're 30, that's about 300. If you're 40, I think it's like 500. And we can send you the chart if you like it.
Yeah.
So it's really easy and it's simple. And the compound of that for 20, 30 years is anywhere from $1 million to $2 million,
right,
depending on how much you invest. But it's really simple. It's you can have accountability with yourself, your partner, whatever it is. But I just thought it was a really simple, conservative plan where any of us can do this and apply this to make sure that we are, financially good in the next 20, 30, 40 years, depending on your age. And there's never a late time to start investing, guys, too.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think we don't speak enough about finances in school. No. For sure. I think we should, and I think these seminars help that for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I agree. I really liked her energy too. Yeah. Just kind of went with the flow. To give you guys context about who she is she was a hairdresser making $5 a haircut. Yeah. And she wanted to retire her and her husband, which is a cop. And she was able to do it. She got this, and she thought it's a big secret. She had a client that had this fancy watch on. It's like, hey, are you investing for your retirement? And she was only in her 20s, so she thought it was funny, and she's like, why would I think about that now? However, this man's advice is literally the advice she gave us, and she's like, I'm glad I listened, and she was able to live a pretty comfortable life, or is living a pretty comfortable life. Yeah. And I love these people at these seminars. It's like they literally give out their phone numbers, and they're like, hey, from 7 to 9, I'm doing my walk. If you need any advice, give me a call. Don't say that to me ever, because I will be giving you a call and I will be texting you. I'm like, hey, bestie. So, yeah.
You and Myra are going to be talking a lot.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. What do you feel like you want to end it with? I feel like we're kind of all over the place, but I think the seminar we didn't talk scripts. Beth is very well scripted. If you're an agent, this was the first time that allegedly that John hears that scripts are systems. So I think this is actually important, because there are so many people in our industry just saying things that they're winging it, and it's horrible, and it's not good advice, and it comes from a place of not rehearsing and truly understanding what is coming out of their mouth.
Yeah, it's super important. Ben Kinney was there too, guys, which is super powerful. And the one thing, we didn't really dive into a lot of real estate today, but yeah, Beth with the scripts. Beth is just amazing. Follow her on it. Do you know her Instagram?
Yeah. Beth by a billion.
There, go follow her. She's amazing at scripts from Buffalo. Go Josh Allen. But yeah, Ben Kinney was on too. One big thing he talked about with agents is there's the two best pillars you can do is make phone calls or go on open houses daily. That's how you build your business. So they had fierce conversations with real estate as well, which is super powerful, because especially in our business. And I think the other thing I got big out of it, Justin talked about, is build your social media, build your brand.
Oh yes, that was huge.
Because if you aren't doing that every single day, how that comes off to other people is you're not proud of your business. So if we're just talking real estate,
that's why I'm here, guys, right now. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing videos every morning now.
The Mac Team branding ambassador in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the big takes for just real estate in
Yeah.
itself. So
Yeah, and it's like that. 30 minutes went by.
went by. So
So I do want to say, if you guys want to be a part of this tribe, let us know, because now we know cool places in Salt Lake to where to stay for hotels, lodging, food, and we'll be at these events for the next few years. So if you're kind of on the fence and you want to talk about it more, let us know.
yeah, please do. Yeah, and we can send you information because they have already had plans for a spring break next year. So we're super excited. We will definitely be there. Hit us up. I want to thank Jordan.
I want to end it differently
house.
since we just came back from the conference. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do
With
it.
the victory pose.
Let's do it.
All right, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Can I get a yes?
Yes.
Can I get a thank you?
Thank you.
Can I get a yes?
Yes.
Can I get a thank you?
Thank you.
Boom. All right, you guys, subscribe.
All right,
Awesome
guys.
pod.
Run in Vegas. Take care of yourselves today. Woo.